Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest, and today we're going to talk about how I was able to buy a property at $23,000. Now, if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm all about teaching y'all how to build passive income, become financially free, and design your best lives. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified of my latest videos. A lot of people actually contact me saying, how are you able to buy these low price properties? I'm not able to find any. And I actually think that's kind of interesting because I've been able to see a lot of these properties that are under $100,000 on the market, even on the MLS. For example, there are areas in Detroit, there are areas in Chicago, there are areas in Florida, Texas, everywhere that I have seen for under $100,000. It doesn't mean that you should buy it though. You need to do your analysis, you need to do your research in terms of your target market, your neighborhoods. You want to make sure you're purchasing a property that's in a good location. You don't want to buy a money pit that has negative cash flow every month. You have to pay property taxes, you have to deal with problem tenants, or you can't even get tenants in your property and it's vacant all the time. You're just losing money on a property like that. You want to make sure you're purchasing a property that will appreciate, that will have tenants, that will provide good cash flow every month, that aren't problematic, and that really does involve a lot of research and analysis. Now back to my story, I had actually purchased a fourplex. I've talked about it in a previous video, and around then I was actually getting impatient. I wanted to buy another property. So I was perusing BiggerPockets, ended up connecting with a wholesaler who had this property, and it was in my target market. So I was really excited. I talked with him around February 12th about this property. I had him send me pictures of the property and, to make sure the inside wasn't completely beat up. Turns out it was. And it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It was under 1,000 square feet. I thought, for $23,000, how bad could this be? To me, it wasn't too much risk because I had money that I could spend. And in my mind, I thought the more I did this type of stuff, it was more a learning experience for me. So it wasn't that risky in my eyes. When I was purchasing out of state, my mentality was even if I lost money, I'd be happy about the education I received from, buying these properties. So just a tip, if you are going to look for properties, make sure that you are comfortable with the amount you're investing. If you were to lose it, maybe, or some bad scenario happened, would you be able to handle it? You should kind of think about these situations and see what you're able to handle, what your risk tolerance, and etc. So I asked a few more questions, asked why the seller was selling. It turns out he was getting old, having some health problems, and he wanted to get rid of this property. So in my mind, I thought, this could be an opportunity. I could help him out and get it at a discount. So it was listed at $25,000. It was an off-market property. I ended up negotiating down $2,000 less. So essentially the way I negotiated was kind of in an asking way. I never kind of demand it. I want to be nice. So what I've experienced is whenever I kind of ask rather than demand, I get better results actually. I found out that this property had a tenant that was paying $400 a month and they had been there for about 20 years. So I decided maybe I could keep that tenant in there so I didn't have to worry about rehabs or anything like that. I didn't want to pay too much more into the property. I just wanted to get this property out there and just get cash flow right away. Turns out when I started closing on this property, that tenant already signed a lease for another place. So it was already too late. They were already leaving. So I had to find another tenant in the future. So instead of using their same property management company, I had already researched other companies and reached out to them, saw if they would be able to manage this property. And actually before I closed on it, I had to make sure that the property management company would be able to kind of handle that property. And they were able to. So I was like, all right, let me just purchase this property. It ended up taking actually almost 2 months for this property to close. There are different problems with communication and things like that, but we figured it out and it was way longer than what I had expected. I thought I was going to be able to close in like a couple weeks. Ended up being longer even though it was a cash only purchase. Now I want to show you guys some funny footage of the property and what happened inside. Basically the property management company went through the property and you can see her struggling. You can see her saying, oh my God, this is really scary. She freaked out at one point because a spider had landed on her. And you just know this property is going to require a lot of repair costs. Now I'm screen sharing a little bit of this video of basically a tour of the property. And just for privacy reasons, I'm just gonna kind of mute this video and just talk over it. So in the beginning, she kind of talks about how there's damaged siding, there's issues with the vegetation, and then I guess the fencing was warped. So I think the real scariness starts around here. So I remember around this time she was kind of saying she was scared to like go through because it was really dirty basically. She also mentioned there was a tree up top earlier that they had to cut down because it was really high from the neighbor's side over our roof. Let's fast forward a little bit. A lot of garbage, a lot of stuff they need to cut down. All right, here's the good stuff. The flooring's real dirty, real messed up, right? She was just really uncomfortable here. A lot of holes, a lot of damage. Get into the good stuff. Everything's so messed up. So messed up. It's so disgusting. I don't even know how she's able to open these cabinets, like, or drawers. I'm just like, that's really, I don't even want to touch that. Props to her. I feel kind of bad that she had to do this. Oh my gosh. Looks really disgusting. The inside's so bad, right? All right, let's keep going. And she was saying all of this needs to be replaced. Oh my God. There's this really old style. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. So as she kept going, the flooring was like more and more damaged. They needed to do new carpet or new vinyl or whatever. I know she mentions a bunch of holes in the wall, holes in the ceiling. Essentially everything just needed to go and be redone. Everything's just so bad. I don't even know how the previous tenants were able to live in this. I feel bad that they had to do that. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad that, you know, the previous tenants are moving to another situation because this is not really good livable condition. Lots of holes, lots of problems. You know, they wanted new tile, new everything. It's just real bad right here. It's just so bad. And, you know, going through the video, I was getting worried too. I was like, this is going to cost a lot, right? Rehabs in the Bay Area cost way more, right, than like here. It usually is a 6-figure repair for something like this. All right, so that was kind of the video. And as the property manager was going through the property and getting really scared, I was getting scared of, you know, the cost that it was gonna take to repair the whole property. I thought it was gonna cost a lot. You know, when I first talked to the other property management company before who was handling the previous tenant, she was saying the estimated repair might be 10 to 20K. And then I talked to this woman and they come back to me saying the estimates might be around 22K. So it was even more than I had anticipated. And I was like, oh my gosh, but you know what? We have to do it. You know, I have no choice essentially. I'm in too deep. So I'm like, all right, let's just go ahead and do it. So as you can tell from that video, everything had to be repaired. But now let's look at some of the pictures of the after because it's amazing. So this took maybe, I would say 1 to 2 months for rehab, which isn't too bad. I've heard nightmare stories of rehabs in the Bay Area take months and months and months because they have contractors that are just lagging. You just don't have a good team that you're working with. Luckily, this property management company had a bunch of vendors that they're used to working with, and they essentially got it all done. They coordinated everything. They would just ask me for approvals, and I would just approve different work orders and things like that. So I kept asking for updates. I kept asking for pictures, and pictures looked amazing the more and more they sent it. And she kept telling me everyone on the team is amazed by how much of a transformation it was. And here's some of the pictures. So normally a rehab like this in the Bay Area would be like over $100,000. So this is actually really amazing how it turned out. And it ended up costing around $33,000, which is pretty high. And it was over the estimate twice, but I'm still very proud of it and still very happy about it. And I'm glad it didn't go to 6 figures in repairs. So now after everything, I basically cash flow about $650 a month, not including vacancy and repairs, but that should be the regular cash flow I get after property management, taxes, and insurance. And I'll go into those numbers more in the next video. I also account for 5% vacancy and 10% repair costs in that video. You know, the best case scenario is $650 a month cash flow, and it's great that I own it free and clear so I don't have to pay for a mortgage. And as you can see, it's just like really cool to have bought a fixer-upper and really get it to that point that it just looks amazing. So I hope to do more of these projects again. I actually love purchasing properties at this low price point because I'm able to do so much more with it and bring the property value up by doing these repairs. But then again, buying in these price points is definitely riskier because there's a reason usually why it's at that price point. And you want to make sure that you're not just looking at the numbers, seeing the numbers look good and it'll be okay. You got to make sure sure that the area will be okay in terms of crime, in terms of will you be able to fill the property with a tenant, you know, other issues that you may anticipate. You want to have a boots on the ground team if you're going to invest out of state at this price point, and make sure that your investment is good, okay? So just as a warning, my experience might have been good, but you want to make sure that you are accounting for all these different factors, doing your analysis, doing your market research before you purchase a property like this, okay? Just because the numbers look good, just because the price point looks good, doesn't mean you should be buying it. So do your due diligence. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash the like button, comment below, let me know what you guys think of the rehab and how I was able to get this property, and make sure to subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified of my latest videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.